I'm Alex. There's a billionaire buster. I'm the billionaire buster. Busting on billionaires. And it's Sunday, so Sunday stream time is kind of the stream I was thinking about doing last week, and then I spent way more time talking about Steven Crowder being a piece of shit than I thought I would. So I just pushed it to this week, and I was doing some chores. I was doing chores today. I had a bit of a just kind of semi-busy day with chores, so I'm sitting instead of standing when I stream. But yeah, gonna mostly talk about a game I like, a game I spent several hundred hours playing, and not just talking about this game for no reason. There's also like big RPG game. There's a world, there's characters, there's political and social aspects to it. I find it interesting. And I feel like this game, the game doesn't get talked about a whole ton of a lot. Definitely probably the more recent entries in the series seem to have garnered a bit more attention, for better or worse. But before we get into all that, because that's going to be my main focus today. So before we get into all that, first things first, let's do some GoFundMe. Some GoFundMe. Some GoFunding me. That. And I know I usually just do the emergency tab. But yeah, that whole thing. I'm gonna avoid that one for right now. But that whole situation seems really fucked up. Really fucked up. But I feel like that's like its own whole thing to discuss, so I don't want to just like very quickly hop on it or something. So yeah, so let's see. I don't know, sometimes like to try doing a specific search. I guess it's sometimes, I guess, just on my end it's a little tricky sometimes, because it's like just there's like so many things, and they're covering like just a whole variety of stuff. But yeah, jeez, it's just the whole thing where it's just hard to search, or just hard to like. I'm looking at these two, and it's like, fuck. I say it every time, but it's true every time. I don't like that I have to pick. I want everyone to be getting help. But you know what? I will be happy about the ones I do pick. So yeah, Florida's just going real crazy with being anti-trans and shit. So yeah, if you're a trans person, Florida is not a great place to fucking live today. And as an American, I don't like that fact. So they've got 50. Let's give them another 50. hopefully get the ball rolling a little bit for these people here. But yeah, for my life, it's kind of been the old GOP playbook. They don't have any policies that would like actually help people or would actually solve any fucking problems in this country. So they just have to focus on increasingly niche culture war topics to try to keep themselves relevant. And then the Democrats potentially, results may vary on how well the Democrats do at actually resisting that stuff. Some states are like passing like good bills that'll like help like protect or just further like guarantee proper safety and treatment for trans people. So that's good. But I mean, a lot of Democrats are kind of shitheads too. There's, as a lefty, I can say that Get Out is a funny movie for that. I'd have voted for Obama a third time if I could. It's just like, yeah, wow, that guy. A lot of guys, not the most unique guy, that one. Okay, I'm a little rambly. I'm halfway through my first drink. I started drinking when my partner prepared a beautiful meal for us both. So I started my drinking when I was eating that. That was a little bit ago. But yeah, hey, second one on here. A little bit, little bits and pieces. You wanna move a mountain? You gotta start by carrying small stones. And hey, I'm sure they appreciate anything. I'm sure the people who have the GoFundMe certainly don't mind getting any attention on their GoFundMe. That wouldn't make sense, would it? So yeah, I want to get to the Xenoblade discussion. There's just a couple just very short, funny-ish things I thought of after the last stream. One is just this shirt. This image is fucking hilarious. I think the way I first heard about this meme or whatever was from like a Super Best Friends Play video, where just one of them was mentioning it, and it was like, oh no, guys, you're understating the number of dead cops on the shirt, because it's Born to Die, World is a Fuck, Kill 'Em All, 1989, I Am Trash Man, 410,757,864,530 dead cops. And you know what? It goes hard. Alright? Born to Die, World is a Fuck. Like, that's already pretty great. I Am a Trash Man, 410 billion dead cops. I think, that's a message that certainly resonates with me. So, I just... film the police. I say film the police because if I said what I really wanted people to start doing to the cops, I might get my channel in trouble. I'd have to start a new one then. I'd be getting censored by the woke mob and their desire to fuck. Okay, yeah, God, wow, I'm just. Anyway, just then there's all the variations on it. It's a good time. Good time. And then another funny one. So that is on OK Buddy Vosh, which is like the Vosh meme and shitposting subreddit. Is I guess how I would say it. It's for all the Marxist Bidenists out there. Anarcho-NATOists are also very welcome. And yeah, I won't go on a big thing about isekai. You know, I've seen isekais that I've enjoyed. I haven't seen a ton of them. There's a unfathomable amount of isekai genre stuff that exists at this point in time. So I mean, even if you watch a lot of anime, I don't know how much isekai you can even practically watch. But like, I enjoy Konosuba. Konosuba was funny. I like that shit. My friend, I got my one friend who's into anime, watches just fucking everything, so you know, he's shown me some isekais that I liked. But you know, I've definitely got my idea for an isekai where borderline it'd be half on the it'd be half like this one. I guess mine is just, I don't know, just you get isekai and then you just try to like start a workers' revolution and overthrow the monarchy and do communism. 'Cause fuck it. If I ever get isekai'd, I'm just gonna start a labor rights movement, or I guess I'll become like the world's first psychologist. Because in a world without psychology, I would easily be the world's best psychologist. It's fun. It's fun when you're in the medieval setting that way. You suddenly become like a world's foremost like medical authority by virtue of having grown up in the 21st century. But yeah, John Brown was a cool guy whose soul is marching on, and I don't know a ton about him, but I will say that the more I've learned about John Brown, the more I've liked the man. Seems pretty fucking based, as the youths would say. He was a real Chad guy. He didn't talk to slave owners. He shot them. He fucking shot them dead. And good riddance, I say. This is a meme someone made where it's a lot of isekais have fucking slavery in them, and it's isekai. Isekai is a genre that's very prone to just absolute like escapist trash. I guess it's just the quick way to put it. You know, there's nothing inherently wrong about like the genre or topic. I mean, it's in a way there's like old stories that you could consider an isekai. You know, where just someone like John Carpenter, you know, that like old fantasy book series, John Carpenter of Mars, is like a guy getting fucking isekai'd, as far as I'm aware. Like, you know, it's not a, you know, it's a fine way to do a setting, but anyway, just there's sometimes there's like slavery in isekais, and like people just like not really care about it, even though it's like, if I got sent to an isekai and there was slavery, yeah, I'll just play the meme. I'll just play the little meme. It's 22 seconds. I'm talking about it too much, I know.
Hello, Mr. Watanabe Generico. Would you like to buy this conveniently cheap?
Come on, Reddit. Come on, Reddit. We can do it.
When in Rome, do as the Romans do. I guess I have no choice but to buy a slave.
Voice.
No! You can't barge into my mansion just to burn it down and free my slave harem!
Face the judgment of the Lord, slaver!
I think I saw something too where someone, I don't know how seriously committed they were to it, but they started just making a John Brown isekai where it's like them and John Brown, and they get isekai'd and they just start going and killing slavers in the fantasy kingdom. And I thought, you know, I thought that was like, that's fun. You know, at least I can't think of a series that's already like, oh, but they've already done the we're gonna end slavery through violent personal means plot. I haven't seen that anime yet. It sounds like an easy layup because your bad guys are going to be slavers. It'd be pretty easy to write as just like your characters would be pretty inherently sympathetic, and you'd have some real easy villains because your villains are just slavers. It's good, clear, like, good and bad sides clashing there. Ooh, so on to that show. That was one my friend showed me, and I enjoyed it. I don't know how good it was or not, but I was enjoying it. And actually, it had some of those aspects of the thing I was just talking about, where just the main character kept just kind of like gathering up groups and like tribes and races of like different creatures and just bringing them into this like pocket utopia dimension he had access to, and just becoming like just becoming very mutual beneficial like friendships with a whole bunch of like discriminating against kind of outcasty like different like beast races and stuff. And I like that. It was interesting in that way. Okay, let's... God damn it, it's right here, so just fuck it. Quick meme. I like the song. It's a good song. That's fun. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with My Hero Academia anymore. I haven't stayed up to date with it. I've heard mixed things about it as a series, which I can believe, because there's always a little bit of roughness with the kind of like pacing and setting in that series, but again, that is not the subject of today. So the thing I want to talk about today, I guess tonight, it's fucking 8:30 now. Yeah, going late on the Sunday night with the stream here. But so Xenoblade. So there's a whole like Xeno series, and I'll start this, I'll just be perfectly frank. I mean, it's no reason to BS. I'm not very knowledgeable about the series as a whole. So it starts there in '98 with like a PlayStation game. So there's a good handful of games. So here's what I know about the series. Xenoblade Chronicles, I know people say good things about this, so it sounds just... I've heard very, very good things about this game, but I haven't played it. Main character is a dude named Shulk, and he got added to Smash Bros. And, I don't mind... Shulk's a cool guy. He's really feeling it. And that's cool. That's fine. Then, I guess it was 2015, Xenoblade Chronicles X came out. I heard some reviews. I remember like Jim Sterling really liked the game. So I said fuck it and bought it for my Wii U. And that's the game we're going to be talking about. Then a couple years later, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 came out. So you can see we got Xenoblade Chronicles 2, but then this one was kind of in the middle of Xenoblade Chronicles X. Oh. And 2, I know about because it's full of anime bullshit, and people made fun of it for that on the internet. And I watched Joseph Anderson's entire playthrough of the game. So that was like a good 50 hours. He kind of was pseudo speedrunning because he didn't particularly like or respect the game, so he was just going headlong. through like the main story missions as much as he could. And yeah, I had a fun time watching Joseph Anderson, who at that point, I think the guy is still like never even watched an anime. He's been gradually exposed to anime bullshit from various video games, and Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is just definitely rife with anime bullshit. So there was definitely a lot of humor in the playthrough of just, watching a man in his 30s with a wife and kids just grappling with the bullshit before him. But our focus here is going to be on X. So that's tiny. Do we not have fucking... It's like I want to put a higher picture there, but then it's like I don't want to take the time to fucking edit Wikipedia. Fucking goddamn it. Low-res photos all over the place. I don't think I'm gonna really use the Wikipedia too much or anything. Alright. Talking about this game, I don't have a great outline. This is gonna be a bit rambly. It's gonna be semi-review, semi-critique, gonna talk about like politics and stuff a bit. But quickly, I'll just go over my own kind of just quick play history with the game. I guess that's helpful. So I bought it for the Wii U. I played it a bunch. I think I had around like 180 or like 200 hours or something played on it. Beat the main story. Did a lot of side content. Had a real fun time with it. And then eventually I just like, moved on to other games. Didn't end up going for like 100%. And then later, some years later, so like kind of like 2 years ago from now, I decided I want to like replay the game and I want to like 100% it because I really liked it. I remember really liking it. I wanted to like double check that for myself. So I got the Cemu emulator, which is like a Wii U emulator, I think. And I played the game on that. And that was fun just because, one, playing on an emulator meant I could boost the resolution and, boost up like the graphics a bit. Also meant I did some like very minor gameplay tweaks. I think by the end when I was just doing 100% on some stuff, I might have done some bigger tweaks just to like cut down on some grinding, but I think I just did one tweak where it was like I made it so you could like change the time of day at like more places than you normally could. I think I made it so you could I got an option where you could just change the time of day from your menu instead of having to like go to a rest point, because you have quick travel in the game. So it's like you can, the only time you can't like quick travel is if you're in a fight or whatever. So like you can always just quick travel somewhere and change the time and then quick travel back to wherever you were, roughly speaking, more or less. But it's a lot more, when you're playing the game a second time, if it's something like, oh, the enemy I need to kill for this quest only appears like at nighttime. It's like instead of having, fucking quick travel and go through a loading screen to change the time, I turned on like this one like mod option where you could just like change the time from your like pause menu. I'm feeling a little warm, so I'm just gonna turn on my fan. Got a little fan running under the desk pointed at me. That shouldn't really make too much noise. And man, with this game, I think the game has flaws. It's like a rough diamond in a way, because I think it is in so many ways. It's like a magnificent game. This game, just brilliant feelings of like adventure and exploration and discovery and like, really just like fighting and clawing your way up to get on top of this like kind of hostile alien world. But the game does have some rough stuff to it. It's not a perfect game. There are like some stuff I would say that are just kind of like obvious issues. I think I like mentioned this in the last week, but there's like a thing where just like inventory management, especially in the late game, when you might just be grinding for shit. Inventory management is just like really cumbersome and time consuming, and it's the kind of thing where like literally if you could just have like a menu button of like, you know, just sell all shit that's like below a certain level, or just, you know, just set, you know, just be able to like just mass sell shit with like one button in your inventory, like that would have literally just saved a lot of time, because it gets annoying when you're grinding and like every enemy is on average dropping potentially one or two pieces of gear, or you're wearing like some equipment to boost drop rate, so you spend 20 minutes killing mobs and then you have like 80 pieces of just like shitty basic gear that you have to like sell off. Yeah, that's a little time consuming and annoying in the game. But the you know, I'll keep clicking on just pictures here because yeah, I don't have like Simu installed right now, so I'm not gonna like show off my own gameplay or whatever. You know, that probably be fun and convenient, but this was long enough ago when I actually beat it, and I did basically do 100% when I was replaying it the second time. I say basically because there's a few things that, if I remember right, there's like a few like kind of like achievement type things that are like online dependent, and you know, by the time I was playing the game, I actually did figure out a way to play online despite playing on emulator. Get fucked, Nintendo. Your security sucks ass, apparently. Always has, too. Because I was playing online with real people when I was on a fucking emulator sitting in front of my computer with a fucking whatever controller in my hand. I remember I was using the PS4 controller, because you could use the touchscreen on the PS4 controller to like control your mouse, and I could have the gamepad window open on my second monitor, and you have like your map on there, and you can like, you know, click to quick travel. So I would use, you know, I could just use the mouse, but I could also like just use that little pad, that little like finger pad that the PS4 controller has. So I was actually having a pretty good time, and using a PlayStation controller was actually giving me a pretty good experience playing this Wii U game on my PC. So I'm just gonna keep just kind of clicking through random pictures here just while I'm initially talking, because that'll just show the game. A lot of these are probably Wii U images, so I think they're not going to be like super high resolution. Usually they're probably mostly like 720p, I think, so not super high res, but you can see the game, you can see what it looks like. It looks like a fucking JRPG. Wow, shocking. But yeah, to start, because it's a long fucking game. There's a lot of stuff to say. I've been streaming for like half an hour now. We're barely getting started. Oh my. Basic plot kind of setup for the game. I'm not going to go into too much detail here because we're just, you know, basic what the fuck's even happening. So alright, basic setup of the game is Earth got fucked up. A big giant alien army appeared. There was like two giant alien armies fighting in the skies above Earth, in the space near Earth, and Earth just got blown the fuck up. But I think it's like some other aliens had helpfully warned humanity that this was going to happen, so humanity built some big ass colonial like arc ships to escape from Earth from and like recolonize. And as you see in the opening cutscene, some of those arc ships don't make it away from Earth exploding or the alien army in time. But some of them do, and your character you're setting, you're on one of those arc ships. And if I'm recalling, I think throughout the whole entirety of the game, you don't ever hear from any of the other arc ships. So whether any of the other like colony ships survived or were able to establish themselves somewhere is unknown. So for your character situation, as far as you know, Earth is destroyed. That's a fact. And your colony on this alien planet may very well be the last remnants of humanity. in the galaxy. And what happens though is your ship though the aliens pursue it and they shoot the ship up, and you're near this like weird planet. Just get to it later, but the planet's got some weirdness to it. But humanity's Ark ship gets shot the fuck up and crash lands. Basically, the ship breaks up, and this ship is huge. This ship is massive, because the way I'll put it is basically, I think this bit here in the center is basically the size of like a small town, and that becomes your main city kind of hub for the game, which is here. So this whole area here is your main city hub. This is, a very far away aerial view. And that's it there. So this whole ship right here is like several miles long. Like literally this ship has to be like 3 or 4 miles long, I think. It's bigger than the Aurora in Subnautica. So hey, cool. Neat. So your character, you get to make a character. You wake up out of like a pod. There's someone there. They say hey, introduce themselves to you. They're cool. They're this lady here, Elma, and all the other, and just it's basically, it's like the crash landing happened, I think roughly in the game time it was like 2 or 3 months ago. Your pod that your character was in just got found now, so you're getting woken up. So things have already like established themselves a bit, but you're getting brought in as a new survivor who's been found. You're the only survivor from the like group of pods, like escape life pods that you were in. But Elma here wakes you up, escorts you back to New Los Angeles. So your whole main city base hub for the game is called NLA, or New Los Angeles. I think the idea is that the different Ark ships were like associated with different countries and were like recreations to some extent of like particular cities. So like this Ark ship city is like styled off of Los Angeles, so it's NLA, New Los Angeles. And that's why there's stuff like there's palm trees, or the like residential area of the city is very, there's a lot of pictures. So here's like the top-down map view. Like the residential area has kind of like a Beverly Hills feel and look to it. But you get to town, and yeah, then you're kind of basic setup is that humanity's currently trapped on the planet. We don't have contact with anything else. We saw Earth got blown the fuck up, so we have nowhere to go home to. Our ship crashed and exploded coming in to the, crash landing on the planet. So huge chunks, basically it's like the city landed as its own, like, special pod with all the, like, spikes around it were from, like a shock absorbing gel that like helped it land, and then like that gel like spread out and hardened, so that's why the city has like these like weird like crystal spike wall around it. That's from the landing. But all the rest of the ship has just got blown the fuck up and is scattered over the rest of the planet you're on in parts. So and a thing that comes up, or I guess I'll explain it now, because it's not clear to your character initially at the start, but it becomes explicit throughout the story, is that basically the main ticking clock for the game's plot is that there's a thing called the life hold. It was part of the Ark, and what it turns out is that all the people in the city aren't really humans. What they are is they're like androids that are all tied to a human, and this part of the ship called the life hold has all the actual human bodies in it, and they're all in like a cryo sleep. And all these androids just have like the mind and personality of some human who's in the lifehold. And the like ticking clock for the game is that humanity wants to find the lifehold so we can get our bodies back, save our bodies, before either the lifehold runs out of power and shuts down and then kills everyone inside, or it turns out also that a group of the aliens that fucked up Earth, some group of them seem to also be stranded on this planet, and they're still waging war against humanity. And so if they find the lifehold first, they're gonna just kill everyone inside. So that's like this big main tower for the central government in town has this like number on it, and that's like the estimated amount of energy that like the lifehold still has. So like throughout the story that like ticks down, and it's just broadcast openly to the city at all times because it's meant to be kind of like, this is ultimately the thing that everyone needs to have in the back of their mind. That, like, if we don't find this lifehold, potentially nothing else we're doing really matters. So it might as well just be, like, priority one. In that way. Like, oh shit, 59. And thematically, I do like that. That's an interesting thing in the game. That, like, that's the tower right there, where it's just this really, from everywhere in the city, it's the tallest tower in the city, and it's just got this timer, this, meter that's steadily going down, and it's all our human bodies die if this reaches 0. So there's it's a desperate situation that you find yourself in. And so, what do I want to get to next on it? Something I'll just say too is that the size of the game and like the game map, physically, like the size of the game map is like really large. If you've played Breath of the Wild and if you liked the just like general like discovery and exploration in Breath of the Wild, or how just like running around the world and like finding and discovering things felt in Breath of the Wild, this game has a lot of that same vibe, and it has a similarly like large and detailed world where it's like, New LA is really like the one human city. There's like other outposts and there's some other like friendly alien races who have some like little settlements, but this is like your one main town for this RPG. And I'm trying to find good pictures of it, but just like, characters in a robot here way high up above it, but just like, it's a substantially sized, like, town. I'm trying to, like, find some just photo, but it's like, if you're just walking through the town, it legit takes, like, you have a run, so I guess I'll say running. You run at a pretty good sprint speed, but just running from, like, the east to the west side of town legit takes, like, 5 minutes. You can quick travel to some parts in town, and it's fun to run around town, but it's like, it's just legitimately a large, just, and it feels good for the game. It feels like it's enough of a sized town that it feels, it helps better for like the realism, or for like just suspension of disbelief, that you can believe that there are like tens of thousands of people and then an increasing amount of friendly aliens that are making their homes in this city, in this like colonial base, because there is just legitimately enough. Man, I'm trying to find some better images, but there's legitimately enough space and just roads and streets and houses and buildings just filling this place out that actually just feels like functional. I'd say it's, I don't know if there's a term for it, but it's like, the potential issue, just a lot of old RPGs have, where towns are fucking tiny, and it makes it in some ways hard to have a real sense of the world. That like, yeah, like Pallet Town in OG Pokemon is 3 buildings. Like, what? What do they eat? Where do the people live? Right? Or like it's just a big gap where like Celadon City is this big. And so this is a city. Like, what? And it's like, it's then I don't know what the fuck this is. What are any of these pictures? Okay, there's some other country, something called Celadon City, but okay, Celadon City. It's like in the anime. Like you watch the anime, and it's like, oh, is Celadon City like actually? Like the anime has to like flesh out some of, like expanding the size of having it look like an actual potential fucking city. And the later Pokemon games tended to get better about this. So like, okay, like here's Pewter City in the anime. Where, okay, it's like in the anime we can see here that like, okay, this is like just at least an actual kind of like, size-wise, maybe it's more of like a town, but it's got skyscrapers. Pokemon's a little weird like that, but it's at least like, I can believe thousands of people live and work here. Cool. But again, it's like, if you look, in the game at Pewter City's, it takes 10 seconds to walk across Pewter City. There's the Poke Center, there's the Mart, there's the museum, there's the gym, and there's 2 houses. Fuck you. Pewter City. Oh man, people making mods. It's fun. So it's something I appreciate in this game, and just I don't know, just it helps a lot, I think, with just the general feel of. It ties into a lot of things, so that'll become more clear later. But I think it is an important, significant thing that this city, that this is humanity's last city. This is your home base. You spend a lot of time in it. Just getting quests, turning in quests. You do quests within the city because there are just people in the city having issues or having conflicts, and you do some like running around back and forth, or again just turning in quests to different people in different parts of the city, or. Sometimes you go to the fucking industrial side of town and there's like a big maintenance warehouse where they like make new weapons and like manufacture equipment, and it's like a big huge warehouse, and you can then go into that warehouse for some quest and like do a mission where you're like testing out a new weapon system, and it's all just like real size because you can then go like outside of that warehouse and like you can run around the perimeter of this giant fucking warehouse you were in, and there's no that real, like, you go into the building and it's way bigger on the inside than it was on the outside. Like, stuff in this game, it's pretty, like, well-sized, I think, to just... How big stuff looks from the outside is, like, how big it looks when you get in there. And it means, there's named NPCs you can actually talk to, but there's also just a lot of, like, random, generic NPCs that are just wandering around to just, flesh things out, make it feel more real. So... Something I like in the game is just there's a real vibe of like this is like a living, breathing city that you're part of, and that you're a citizen of, and that you're trying to like you're improving things. You're making people's lives better in the city by doing missions and helping them out with like their task or their problems. You're actually accomplishing something, and it's like the city, in this really dangerous setting, like, oh, we're on an alien planet and Earth is destroyed and there's an alien army after us, like, there's a nice park, like the residential part of town, so it's like a nice park, and people are sitting there and, reading books and having conversations. There's tennis courts, and people are playing, people are playing tennis while cute little alien characters cheer them on in curiosity at these human sports that they don't understand. There's a big water treatment plant. There's roadways that are undone because the city was being worked on during the flight, and because of the crash landing, they didn't have time to fully flesh everything out the way they wanted to. So there's like roads that just have dead-end drops because they're not done yet. So, very quick. Take a little sip. And yeah, so in terms of the game map and game scale, I guess just to get that established, so there's 5 main zones. So we were looking at the city there, so we can see there's your first zone here. Then this is starting here. This is kind of the second zone you probably go to. This one's usually the third. And then here's the fourth and the fifth. And it can be a little deceptive when you're looking high up on the map, but like I said, just running across New Los Angeles takes a couple minutes. So all of this space with ups and downs and tunnels and passageways, and also tons of potentially hostile native alien wildlife, there's a lot to explore and to see. This here, a little more zoomed in on just this one zone, you can see a little bit more of the details. Just like, it's a big fucking game. It's a real big kind of open world. And that's, so for the reference, so like this bit here, this like kind of rocky thing here is what that is. So like there's the corner of the city, and like there's that big rocky outcropping, and then the like layers and like plateaus, and then there's like the start of the lake over here, and more like paths and plateaus. They do a good amount of like variety of like having like different levels of stuff, and having like levels that like 2D planes that you can run on that are running under and above each other and have pathways going up and down. So it's very fun to run around and just explore and just kind of be on this alien planet, like just as a way I would describe it. This is something I felt when I was first playing it, and when I say this, I mean it in the best way, is that it feels kind of like a single player MMO. Just if you've ever played a MMO and massively online game, big huge fucking world, those aren't as like groundbreaking to see nowadays as they were way back when. But playing something like World of Warcraft in 2005, like Azeroth is a fucking huge game space relative to what you would get in games that weren't an MMO. And I feel this has some of that vibe of just, if you've ever played an MMO game and you've just been running around and exploring, and you've been doing that for an hour, and you look at your map and you realize that you've explored 20% of this one zone, and then you look out at the bigger map and there's 20 zones on the landmass that are all like equally big and complicated, and you've just managed to explore this little chunk of this one particular zone out of a big, huge like continent. This game has a lot of, I think, that kind of similar like just feeling of I'd say kind of like the MMO comparison too, just in terms of kind of how the gameplay is a bit structured, with like getting missions and running around, and there's mobs, there's enemies just all over the place with their own like logic to how they're spread and set out. Let's see. Oh, I don't know what this is. Random images on Google. All right, let me sit for a sec. Just sip. Well, here, because with some of this stuff, it'd be better. I can like find videos of just people actually playing the game and running around, and that'll kind of do a better job of showing off the world. So I'll just kind of try to quickly describe some more things. So general structure of the game is like you do quest. There's lots and lots of quests. There's like main story quests. Then there's all sorts of other side quests, and you need to do quests that aren't the story quests to just get enough like levels and experience. You have party members. You can potentially have a lot of different party members. You can only have 3 other people with you at a time for a total of a 4-man party. And there's different classes. It mostly boils down to kind of a mix of generally, you want someone who can be some kind of like a tank, so they can like taunt enemies and have durability. And then it's all kind of a mix of either damage dealing or support or debuff on the enemies, that kind of mixture. So you don't have to strictly have someone as like a healer. But there are like some of the classes are definitely very supporty classes where like, they'll have damaging abilities. They can deal damage, or they can do stuff that like sets up enemies to take damage, but they do have some just like explicit healing or like defense boosting. And then you have like DPS classes, and then there can be like overlap between them. You can have someone who's kind of tanky, maybe that you put a taunt ability on them, but you have the more damage focus. Maybe you have someone who has like a lot of spells, or like you put a bunch of abilities on someone that'll like weaken and debuff or stun the enemies to kind of like facilitate everyone else beating up on them. I think I usually just had my character set, my player character. That's the thing too. You just control your main character. Everyone else you can configure. You can totally configure like what their gear and what their skills are. But they'll in combat they'll generally like do their own thing. But they're pretty smart about it. It's like if they have their healing ability up and someone's at low health, they'll heal them. And if an enemy's like set up to be toppled or something, they'll use their like topple ability to knock them down. And you usually only have, I'm looking at the bar, like you only have like 8 abilities on your like usable in combat. You can only have 8 abilities equipped, so it's not hard for like the computer allies to just tend to just hit their shit when it's off cooldown and have a pretty good time with it. And then you have a melee and a ranged weapon. Some of your abilities will use one or the other. It's usually the ranged weapon will do a bunch of like smaller hits, but it has range. And then the melee weapons tend to do more like singular, like big hits. And then it's just all kind of a matter of sometimes the class you're on might favor one more than the other. And there's like different types of the melee or ranged weapons, but those are mostly kind of like class locked. Like whatever class you are decides what melee and ranged weapon you'll have. And there's like a very small amount of overlap. And combat's pretty fun. You can there's a lot of stats. There's a lot of like potential like min-maxing type shit you can do, especially late game. There's a lot of potential min-maxing you can do, but you also like don't need to do it. And if you figure out just like certain like pretty strong or powerful strategies, I found you can usually just use those to get yourself through like most like standard fights. You just hit them with your best shit. It's kind of like the MMO thing where it's like something like World of Warcraft where you like go through your like rotations of like you do your spell, and that's, you know, it's a damaging spell, but it'll make your next fire spell stronger, so then you do your fire spell, and then, oh, because you've used 2 fire spells, you can then use a debuff that requires the enemy to have like 2 fire debuffs on them, so then you can use this other spell, and then there's, and then you've built up your power meter from doing spells and damage, then you can use your ability that does more damage the more full your power meter is, but it has like a 20-second cooldown, so you want to, you know, wait till your meter's full before you pop it. The combat's a lot like that. I'm kind of happy I found this GIF here, because it's pretty. Game's pretty when it's in motion. It's not a bad looking game by any means. Lots of colors, lots of effects, lots of varied and potentially very large enemies that, you know, if you like Jurassic Park and you think Jurassic Park kind of shit is cool, man, you get to fight some real big, great fucking beasties in this game. Yeah, this asshole. I know who this asshole is. This guy scared the shit out of me on my first playthrough, because I didn't realize he was an enemy until he came alive, and I was swimming towards him, and then it was just like, oh no, I'm gonna die, aren't I? And then I did die, because he's level 60, and I was like level 20. And there's like a fun thing, you can target different body parts on an enemy, and if you deal enough damage, you'll like destroy that body part, which can it can make the enemy not able to like use certain abilities in the fight if the body part they need for it got destroyed. And then also item drops. Sometimes certain items have either a better chance or like their only chance of dropping is if you destroyed a specific part of the creature's body. And it's pretty sensible. It's not like you destroy their eye stalk and then you like get a hoof. It's not shit like that. It's usually, you know, like you destroy the wing and then you have a better chance of getting like a feather item from them, or you blow the creature's like tail off and then you get like a, you know, you get a fucking tail item. I don't know. You blow their foot off and then that's how you get the hoof item. Or it'll have an effect in the fight of like, oh, you damage their foot body part and then they like fall over for a few seconds, and it's like, cool, you can keep pressing that. And like some of your abilities do like extra damage to the like body part, like not to the health bar, but they'll do extra damage like to a body part if there's a body part they can hit with it. So that shit's pretty fun, I think, because it you know, it's different and sensible, like different appendages you can target for like every type of enemy. So it's, you know, interesting to see sometimes with some of the like really large like enemies that actually might have a lot of like different parts of them that you can potentially choose to target or focus on. Or some enemies will have it where if you target an appendage, that'll then reveal another appendage. Like I think there's some enemies where they've got like a hard protective shell like on part of their head or something, and if you target that shell and destroy it, then there's like a softer part underneath it, and you can then target that and destroy that. And usually that part will be destroyed more easily, and there'll be like an item drop tied to that part. So there's a lot of stuff you can like figure out about like effective ways to just, you know, how you know what you want to kill and like how you want to kill it to get the items. And in terms of like quests and stuff, you know, a lot of quests, there's like kind of just standard, kind of typical RPG fare of just, you know, killing so many creatures or getting items from them. But there's also more, you know, there's stuff where like you go to some place and you like find a person there and then you like help them do something so that they can like get back safely, or, you know, they want you to kill a specific creature that like attacked the convoy they're on, so you go and like find that creature and kill it. And yeah, so here, time-wise, Let's do another donation. It's been about an hour. So let's help someone else out. Let's do what the billionaires can't, which is helping our fellow humans. Let's see what's this about. Okay, yeah. Fuck it, they wrote a lot here, but sounds like wife died and they got various medical debt and expenses related to that and to various health struggles they were having before that. So, let's give them. They're asking for help. So I'm going to do a very crazy and anti-American thing and I'm just going to help them. Whoa. It's like I'm not even asking for something back from them for me. I'm just like doing it. Oh, I guess I'm showing off on stream about it. Ooh, look at me. I help people, and then I talk shit on the billionaires who have way more capacity to help people and don't. Aren't I a stinker? It's that quick, that easy, that simple. You don't even have to get out of your computer chair. You can help someone out. If you make a decent wage, if you got good earnings, this is a really easy way to help people. For shit. You know, for the problems. For the problems this guy is having here, the easiest, best way I can help him is with the fucking money donation. So that's what I did. Woo. Alright. So, okay, I realized so far I've been kind of talking a lot about the game's mechanics and whatnot. So I hate the shit YouTube does where it's like, hey, here's a bunch of things that are only tangentially like, no, I searched Xenoblade Chronicles X. Don't show me this other fucking shit. That's not what I fucking looked up. Fucking assholes. Fuck, I watched a little trailer just to at least get some gameplay and motion on here. So let's, and then because I know I've been kind of just talking about the general like gameplay and setting and stuff. You're gonna get more on some of the writing and like kind of political and just general like themes of the game and the stuff that I kind of had as a takeaway, and that is the main thing I wanted to share. Besides the fact that as a gamer, I like this game. I think it's a good game. I think it's worth checking out. Yada yada yada. But because I'm talking about this on a Sunday Billionaire Buster stream, there is a greater political minded thing I was building up towards. But let's check this exploration trailer just to see some footage of the game and just get a sense of all the shit I've been talking about, what it actually looks like.
地球を後にし、放浪の旅に出て2年。ついに異星文明の追撃部隊に見つかってしまったのです。激しい戦闘で白芸の指揮官を大破。航行能力を失った白芸は未知の惑星の重力につかまり、船体を崩壊させながら墜落していきました。
lot of pretty vistas. If you see a mountain, you can go there. Also, the soundtrack in this game is generally like pretty fire. A lot of good bangers. A lot of the general exploration, like zone theme music is very good. The music when you're in town is good. The music in fights is pretty damn great.
こうして地球人類最後の一人を仲間に迎えた私たちはこの未開の惑星ミラで生きていく決意を固めました。
Very cool. Very good game. A lot of videos. Yeah, Switch port. That'd be nice. Just this game's worth it. Be worth it to get. Make it so more people have the opportunity to experience it, especially since the Wii U didn't sell very well and the Switch did sell very well. But let me just think of what I want to do. What's the best setup? Well, here, real quickly, I need to go to the bathroom. So while I'm doing that, credit to this person. Credit to World of Long Plays. I'm gonna let this just run as some B-roll. At least while I go to the bathroom, maybe I'll talk over this as B-roll too, because good to just have some footage going. Show the fucking game I'm talking about. do a drink refill, so just take a minute too. Alright. Back to it. In fact, I kind of took a minute there. Helped me figure out a little more what I wanted to get into, because I know this is a bit meandering. I didn't write a script or anything for this. We live streaming. We're debate broing this game. But so in terms of, come on, I was talking about a bit of like themes or like politics in the game, and just like what I thought was interesting and what I got from it, and relating that back to stuff in the real world. I'll say it that something I find really interesting. So the way the situation is that I describe, where it's like it's this crash landed human colony that's escaped from a destroyed Earth pursued by aliens. It's a very dire situation. You'd probably expect that, like, there's some sort of, like, heavy-handed, like, authoritarian military dictatorship that is, like, managing this. But that's not really the case. Now, we don't get, like, an explicit civic lesson in the game. But in terms of the government, I guess it's the way to kind of think of it is that, like, the colony here, their big arc ship, the White Whale, it was intended to, like, be a full-blown colonization effort. So, it's not just, like, the bare essentials of being, like, a military outpost. Like, it really, it's meant to have, like, all the other institutions of civil government, and it's meant to have, like, the general amenities that, like, people expect from modern life. So it's just like when you're in the city, you know, the city's kind of split up into some different zones, but there's like the business sector of town. But it's like the business sector of town, like it has restaurants and clothing shops, and you know, I know you don't really like go into too many of the stores ever. I don't think you do like quests and have like character interactions with some of them. There's like a pizza place that has a couple quests with it because you know you do like pizza deliveries or some shit. But it's like you can look at signs. I just remember looking one and seeing that like one of the stores in town was like a toy store, like you know where this embattled on the brink human colony on an alien planet, and like, but the design, the intention of like New LA is that like there's a toy store and there's a like high-end clothing shop and there's like a grocery co-op. I think specifically it says like it's like grocery farmer co-op or something, like a co-op kind of market, or it's like a. So the thing I want to say is that there's a real sense in the game, and it's not a perfect harmonious thing. You know, there are people who are assholes, there are people who are criminals, there are some people where I'm not sure how they got selected to be on the project, to be on the arc here, because they go fucking insane. There's like this one very, very long quest. You have to find like 100 of these fucking little things scattered around the city, so it's like, you know, it's a quest that you like get early on and you're not expected to really complete it for a while because you need to be able to like fly in a mech to even get at some of the things. But it's like you're tracking down this like serial killer, and you know there's some stuff where I feel like there's a certain level of like, I think in one part of his quest he legitimately like just explodes a bomb in a public place and like kills like 6 people. And I feel like there's a certain degree where the characters like don't seem to be taking that as seriously as they should be. Or there's just the question of like, why is a literal serial killer like mad bomber guy, how the fuck did he get on the ship? Why the fuck did we take him with us? But in general, I guess a thing I really appreciated about the game and that I really enjoyed while playing it is, I would say that it's like the people of NLA and the government and authorities of NLA, that they just in general seem to have a lot more cohesion and have their shit together in a way that, as someone living in America, I am achingly desperate to see in my own fucking nation. Like, as much as these people are on the brink of fucking annihilation, and you can see here, this game is so fucking beautiful, and you definitely get the better sense here when it's like, you know, it's just the actual character standing in it and like whipping the camera around of like, oh, like, yeah, these gameplay areas are like pretty fucking big. Like, look how big that giant brontosaurus thing is, and it's still like this whole climb he's doing where it's like, the main entrance is like locked down, so you gotta like take the elevator up, and it's just this whole thing of like, to get in the city is a process. You know, it takes a couple minutes to walk into the city. It like reminds me a bit of being in college, where it's just like freshman year, going from my dorm to my college was like an 8 to 10 minute walk. Like, if it was like, you know, when it was like winter and shitty, you know, I'd be like ducking into as many buildings as I could, and like luckily the engineering building was before my college, but there was like a bridge. There was one of those, you know, like second floor bridges that connected the two buildings. So it's like, once I made it to the engineering building, at least I could just go inside through their building and not have to deal with the fucking cold in Rochester. But it's something I appreciate in the game, is just that for the most part, and I'm not, you know, if I was doing the super deep down story analysis, I mean, that could, you know, that'd be a multi-hour. If I was giving this game like a Joseph Anderson treatment, I mean, you'd easily come up with like a 4 or 5 hour scripted like video on the game. You know, I mean, if someone like him did a like serious review on this, easily they'd make like a 4 or 5 hour video on it. But yeah, so I'd say it's like kind of in terms of the political structure. So I don't want to describe. So I'd say it's like the general vibe. You know, it's not communism. Like, it's definitely not communism because there's money and there are like private companies to some extent. To some extent, private, but. And, you know, and the game isn't, like, explicitly trying to be, like, a political treatise. So you still have, like, there are, like, you know, characters where it's like, they're a rich, out of touch, just whatever. They want you to find some rare thing for them and they'll pay a high price for it. And it's like, how does this guy even have fucking money? But it's like, whatever. At least it's like, that guy's not, like, there's no sense that he's got, like, actual employees that he's, like, exploiting or something. And the context of the setting, I guess I'd say, it feels kind of like a very... Again, like, not communism, and it's not like explicitly like socialism or like a social democracy, but maybe a kind of syndicalism. I don't know the exact word for it, and because I think it's, you know, I think also the developers' intentions weren't explicitly to be like, this will be a depiction of a syndicalist society, and therefore we will go into deep details about the labor relations, but something I just liked in the game was that there is just a real genuine, like, spirit of working togetherness, and I guess that's where I get the kind of, like, I guess I'd put it this way. The game, I don't think the game is, like, particularly in any way, like, anti-capitalist with its messaging. The game isn't like, there's not like really, I guess I put it this way, like, there's not a big emphasis on like, fuck big business, or like, here is how big businesses exploit the working people, but that's because the society in this game is like, already kind of beyond that, or at least, you know, this society of NLA is beyond that. Actually, here's a good, just for a little detail. So I'll play this out, because, so this guy, it's kind of like there's like two main, again, I don't know, you don't exactly know how the political shit works, but basically it seems like there's like the general civilian government, and this guy's like the head of it, and he's like I think he was like elected like before shit kicked off. You know, he was, like, gonna be the top bureaucrat politician. And then there's, like, the more, like, military arm of things, which is called Blade, which, like, you become part of. And, like, there's a guy in charge of that named, like, Secretary Nagi. And it, you know, it feels a bit like they're not, like, they're... The feeling is that, I guess, is that, like, you know, the military is under the civilian government. But given the situation they're in, that, like, more militarized branch does have a lot of shit it's doing. But then I'd also say the way the military, you know, the way Blade, the military organization, works in this setting is not at all like a standard modern, like, regimented military. Blade feels a lot more like kind of like a, I'd say, the thing I would jump to kind of is, it feels a lot more like kind of like a government work program. Like, you sign up, like, you can just sign up for Blade, and there's shit they need done, and you can go do that shit, but, like, you could quit at any time. You could change what division you're in. That's, like, the big thing. There's, like, 9 different divisions, and for you as a player, you end up just doing stuff for all of them. You join a division, and it's like you get more experience for your Blade level when you do specific things that are correlated to what your division is about, but you end up doing shit for all the divisions. But it's kind of, you know, it's more kind of like it feels a bit more like a job program, like a public work kind of thing. Like, like one of the divisions of Blade, I think, is like the Salvagers, and the Salvagers thing is that they are looking for wreckage of the ship and they're salvaging from it. They're collecting metal and advanced electronic and computer equipment and whatever kind of stuff might have been stored, all sorts of, really advanced sci-fi tech equipment that was part of the spaceship, and that, the city would have a really hard time manufacturing it. So it's like, hey, the Salvager group, if, they go out, they go looking for stuff to salvage, and if someone from some other part of Blade happens to find, like, a big piece of wreckage, they can, like, report that in, and the Salvagers will send a team out on it. And, like, that's just a useful, helpful thing for people to be doing. It's like, yeah, we want salvaging, so it makes sense that we have, like, organized teams, and the Salvagers have to go out into the environment, so it makes sense that the Salvagers are, like, part of the more, like, military, like, side of the government, because they all need to be, like, armed and ready to fight. Some of these salvager operations might be in real hostile territory. So, things like that. But let's just give a little, so this is, it's like, hey, this colony city, the president, minister, whatever, He's speaking at Blade Tower to brief... Oh, yeah, Director General. So that's his title, Director General. But it's like, he's doing a public address to the city. And...
LA, bringing with them skills and know-how that will bolster our ability to survive and indeed flourish here in our new home. This, of course, is only the latest success in our continuing efforts.
Director General? Since when?
For the rescue and recovery of
2 days ago, ma'am.
brothers and sisters. I stand here truly.
From political aide to Director General in just a few weeks. At this rate, he'll be Emperor by next month.
For a better LA and a better
Irina? Gwyn?
Nice work out there, ma'am.
There's a few different factions, like the different divisions of Blade. Like, I know one is like, I'm forgetting all the exact names, but it's like one, I think it's like the Pathfinders or something, and their thing is just to do the actual, like, initial, like, scouting and to put out, like, recon and scout, like, probes and devices to map out the areas. And it's like, and their job's considered a very dangerous one because we're on the sailing planet. They're the ones going in first to a lot of these areas, so they don't know what to expect when they're going out on their missions. Or there's like one group where they're like a very combat oriented group, and their thing is to go after high profile, dangerous like animals, wildlife. I think the game uses the term indigens as like indigenous, because it's just all the various indigenous wildlife that, not everything is inherently hostile. There's plenty of stuff that'll just, if you don't fight it, it won't fight you. It's funny, some of it's because it's like really large creatures, like those really large brontosaurus things. If you don't fight them, they won't fight you, because I guess it's just like, they're not threatened by you in any way. They don't fucking care. They're like literally 100 feet tall. They don't care about a human running around by their toes. But it's like, if there's some like real dangerous creature that's, settled up somewhere and we think is going to be a threat to our like supply lines, then like the Harrier group or whatever is like a real combat oriented group, and a squad of them will be sent out to take out that target. So that's like a very like kind of military style job to be doing. But like then there's a group that's main thing is just like gathering natural resources and just discovering natural resources in the environment, and then just gathering those, just finding and discovering just new fruits and plants, vegetables, new stuff to eat, new animals that could be like kept as livestock or be eaten, and or finding artifacts. And as the player, like that's something you just do as you're playing. You just find and collect shit too, so it's like, you're contributing to that as well. So there is, like, to me, I think it's just, I found it just really interesting while playing that there was just such a strong sense of, like, even people just living their lives. I guess it's like there's a good harmony between what everyone's, like, doing, and that there's a respect and, like, awareness of it. That, like the guy who runs the pizza place, no one gives him shit that he's not going out on missions. It's like there's a very, it's an understanding that there's, like, the more civilian aspects of things, and that those are still important and valuable. Because, the guy running the pizza place means that everyone else has access to pizzas. People want pizzas. He could go out and do ops, but he'd just be one more guy, and who knows how good of a soldier he'd even be. Why not have him stay at his pizza place and just keep making, fucking bomb-ass pizzas? I think the place is called, like, Grenade Pizza, so it's literally, like, bomb-ass pizzas. And I like that, like, kind of in the game, too, that there's a sense of just, like, people are trying to do whatever things it is that they're good at. The things that they're best at are where, they're encouraged to, do their interest, or, just to put their efforts there. There's a bunch of people who do, like, maintenance on equipment, where it's, the engineers and repair guys, and it's like, hey, yeah, because that's real important, too. There's a lot of people doing, like, construction work in the city, building and expanding things, because that's important, and we need people doing that. There's like a whole thing in the main plot quest where you find this real big alien guy. He's like the size of one of the mechs himself. He's like 20 feet tall, and he's a real, big, strong guy, and he doesn't want to fight. He's got, like, an actual pacifist nature. He was, like, forced to fight against his will, so he doesn't want to fight. And it's like, so it's a thing of, like, well, okay, he has to do something. So there's a sense of, like, okay, no freeloaders. Like, you gotta work, fine. But then, someone just mentions that, like, well, hey, he's real big and strong. Like, he could do construction work, couldn't he? And it's just like, yeah, okay, that's fine. Like, that's, like, it's, like, immediately acceptable that the real big, strong guy, strong alien, dude who's built like a fucking rhino, like, he can just do construction. And then, later in the game, like, when you see him, it's like during the day, he's, like, at a construction site, and he can just, he can just lift up the girders with one hand. But, oh, fuck, that was a big-ass spider there. What the fuck? Alright, damn, where the fuck did that come from? Ugh. God damn, I'm usually not in my fucking room. It's usually the basement that's got all the spider problems. I do not see them in my room that often. I'm gonna have to put some of those. I'm gonna put some sticky traps out. Let the traps get the spiders. I don't have to fucking deal with them. Man, that surprised the shit out of me. I go, if I'm in the basement and I see a spider, it's like, fucking spiders in the basement. Yeah, that's a problem I'm dealing with, but... Man, dude, do not expect to see them just right up on my wall there. And another similar kind of thing, building on that, I am gonna actually look up what the divisions are right here, because I just want to. Yeah, I'm spelling it wrong. I want to remember what the one of them is actually called. So, okay, so there's the curators. They're the ones who their focus. So this is also more kind of like to inform, because as the player, you join a division, but you get more points when you do the activities of that division, but you're doing all the things anyway. So to me, it's partly when you talk to other characters, like NPCs, you'll see what division they're part of. So I kind of like that as just, you can use as like a bit of a reflection, just to like give a bit of insight as to like what this person's like interest or skills are, that like, oh, they chose to be in this division. Like there's this one lady character who I don't like, But her thing is she's just like very selfish. Just she wants to profit and make money. So she's skilled, but she's like really selfish. But like I think she's in the curators division, which sounds like kind of a bit like of a soft division for her because she's really bloodthirsty. But it's like, oh, their main thing is like collecting valuable materials. Like that's probably one of the more economical things to be doing. So it's like, oh, it kind of makes sense in a way that this character who's obsessed only with like expanding her own material wealth is in a division that isn't super focused on fighting and is more just focused on finding shit. But yeah, okay, so there's Harriers and Interceptors. They're the main fighty ones. So I guess Interceptors are more defense focused, so defending, being on standby, ready to defend stuff. The Harriers more go for like hunting down dangerous things. Mediators, that's the big one I wanted to remember the name of. Then you have Pathfinders, the Reclaimers, who are searching for like all the just lost shit. Prospectors, who are mainly going after natural resources that are of a rocky and mineral and hard variety, as opposed to the Curators, who are going more after the soft stuff. Pathfinders are doing like the scouting. Outfitters are doing development and doing research and testing and some resource grabbing for weapons development. And then the Mediators. The Mediators are a group I thought was really interesting because there's no cops in NLA. There's no police. And the Blade organization itself, like I say, it's kind of military and it's also kind of a militia. Like just the way it functions, it's kind of also got a militia kind of vibe to it because it's like you choose what division you want to go in. But a thing I find interesting is like the Mediators group, because the Mediators fill some of the function of like police. That like when you see characters that are just kind of standing on like guard duty in like a corner of like a city zone, that's like usually Mediators. But this guy here, he's an important character, but he gives you like a description on each of the divisions to choose what you want to claim and to like choose which one you want to join in. I'll just read out his description here for Mediator. So, these are the folks who keep everything hunky-dory with John and Joan Q public. Any problems a civvy has, they come to Mediators. Fight with your neighbor, Mediators. Lost cat, Mediators. It's not a division for everyone. You need to be a jack of all trades and a people person. Someone with my charming personality, probably not the best mediator. But if you got what it takes, it's a clutch role, keeping things cool on the home front. So the thing with the Mediators is that it's like, they're more just like, they're not like cops. They're just like helpful. They're like social workers, in a way, but they're just like helpful, and they do aspects of policing, and they do aspects of social work, but they also just, they also do just like act as like negotiators and like third parties for like disagreements and conflicts. If you're having a dispute with your neighbors, you can just ask a mediator to come and like talk to both of you at the same time and try to help officially like work through things. Or I know there's the one character, Hope, where she's a character you can eventually have as a potential party member, and she's a mediator, and when you find her, it's like her main thing is I'd say it's kind of like she's like doing like counseling work, and it's like her whole kind of plot initial thing to like recruit her is just that she's like kind of overwhelmed with how busy she is because she's like the most popular mediator. I don't know if it's just because she's like pretty lady, but it's also, it's like she's like, I guess, just very, very like empathetic and just people feel really like safe and like they can be open with her. So she's like a fantastic like kind of like counselor therapist. And people have a lot of just problems anyway, and people are dealing with a lot of trauma about how fucking Earth blew up and a lot of people fucking died. Most of humanity fucking died when that happened. Shit's pretty sad. So she's like acting as a counselor and just talking to people, letting them come to her about their problems. So just she's in the same faction that like she's in the same division that the more policey, there's a couple of them just stationed around at parts in town, like, with rifles, just, ready with, if someone tries to do something criminal, like, hey, we're here on the scene. If a big fight starts up, we'll run to stop it. If fucking alien birds, if some fucking flying alien birds just come swooping into town for no reason, we're here and ready to deal with it. But it's like, she's in that same division, and like her thing is she's just like a counselor. She's talking to people just all day, every day. She's just talking to people and like helping them like work through their own. Autofocus. Yeah, okay, there we go. She's helping like people deal with their emotional trauma and their issues and concerns. And to me, mediators, not cops. I like the mediators. The mediators, I'm very ACAB. I am not AMAB. The mediators are not bastards. Most mediators are pretty good people. And yeah, you can get her as a character and have her, she'll join, you can have her in your party and go on missions and do shit with her. And, I don't know if anything from the images here is going to be real helpful. But, yeah, she's 24. Yeah, she's 24. She's in Blade. Her occupation is Blade. But it's like, yeah, people just really like her. She's just like a nice, friendly, empathetic person that people like talking to. And, like, that's her job. Her job she just gets to be a counselor because she's really good at that and doesn't mind doing it, and everyone else like really appreciates her efforts there. And I think that's a very nice way to run society. 'Cause it's like, she's not charging the people she counsels for. Again, it's like, I don't know exactly how the money exists because you get money and you can spend money like at the shop, buy and sell, equipment and upgrades and shit. But it seems like, again, that there's a kind of like, again, I don't think it's like explicit, it's not like communism exactly, but there seems to just be a general thing that like, people could very well be getting paid, but it's like, Hope isn't having to like charge the individual she gives counseling to, and I don't think she's like getting paid even from like the government end. I don't think she's like getting paid per person that she can like log that she gave a counseling session to. Seems like there's just a bit of a general, it is that old kind of communism quote of like, from each according to their ability, to each according to their needs. Hope has a place she can live. She's got food. She's got clothing and shelter. She's got days off in a week. Everyone, no one's working 7 days a week if they don't want to. She's got downtime. She can go, watch a movie, listen to some music, read a book in the park. Though, for her character, she probably couldn't read a book in the park because people would come up to her and want to talk to her about their issues because everyone fucking loves her and loves her advice. And she is somewhat burdened by how in demand she is. It's like the first time when you're like interacting with her before she's a party member, there's like literally like a line of like 8 people like just outside just like waiting to talk to her, and she just seems very busy trying to like get through everyone. But it's like, I think that's like I don't know, there's like, I think there's something kind of cool about that the way the human society in the game as presented is set up is that they have like people who are just kind of, their job is just to try to like just smooth things out and reduce friction. It's like, you know, Vandam says, you know, he's talking to you and like you could be joining any division, you know, the interceptors go out and fucking kill giant dangerous alien creatures that pose a threat and could, you know, kill people. But even then, Vandam's like, hey, being a mediator, it's a clutch role. Keeps things cool on the home front, you know? It recognizes that, like, the interceptors wouldn't be able to do their job as well if the mediators, like, weren't also, you know, keeping things smooth at home, at the base. And likewise, you know, the interceptors, what would be the point of them going out and killing dangerous indigens if there's not a home front to protect? You know, they're protecting that home front that the mediators are helping to, you know, keep as something worth protecting. And then it's just like, you know, the other, like, you know, the reclaimers and prospectors and curators are going out and doing the dangerous job of finding and logging and getting and, you know, locating the resources that are necessary for the city to keep functioning and developing and to replenish the limited materials that they were able to, you know, keep from the initial drop and be able to keep improving their technology to respond to, you know, more and more ongoing escalating threats. So that's something that I thought was just really, and you get, and when you're playing the game, like when you're playing the game, there are like quests you do, like there are quests you get that are like take place in town and are basically like mediator quests where the quest might literally be you just kind of running back and forth between a few people and just like selecting some dialogue options and just like helping some people. You know, you as a player end up like helping some NPCs like work through a conflict they're having, or just, you know, help a guy just figure out how he wants to like approach a gal he's interested in, and, you know, just like giving him some emotional support to like, yeah man, come on, try it, you know, if you're into her, you gotta go ask her out. Like, you get to do quests like that between going out and fighting monsters and flying around in a mech and shooting at shit and collecting resources and looking for treasure. So that's something I really like thought was kind of interesting about the game, that there was just such a general level of like cohesion that humanity was showing in how they were working together in a general sense, and that like, because there's stuff like I don't give a shit about high-end fashion, but the fact that like in town there's a high-end fashion store and it's, you know, it's making clothes, it's making designs, it's coming up with new designs, it's trying to meet people's needs. You know, you do a couple quests with them. I think you do a couple quests with them where it's about expanding their inventory to better cater to the new aliens that you team up with, and you start having aliens live in the city, and it's like the store wants to like you to help them with some like interviewing and market research to figure out what the fuck the aliens might be interested in, because the store by default only has stuff for humans. So it's like you can then, you know, you then go and like talk to the aliens and ask them about like, hey, like what would be fancy clothes for you, like how can we make you fancy clothes? And I like that in so much as, you know, you're doing all sorts of, you know, killing dangerous aliens and discovering things and collecting resources and helping to develop like weapons and armor and robots and shit, that you can also spend some time on like, hey, like let's make sure that like that our new alien friends have like outfits that they'll find comfy and stylish and like feel good about wearing, and, you know, we'll sell them to them. But it's like it's not like a big like crazy, you know, we're not like, you know, we're not screwing them over with like trying to sell these clothes to them. We're just like trying to figure out what they would even want clothing wise, like. So I like that aspect of the game, and then... oh, wow, I just had this playing in the background the whole time. So I'll bring that back a bit. But, in the interest of time, yeah, I'm going to talk a bit more. I'll do the last donation, though, because in the interest of time, I'll do the last donation, because we're getting near to that point. Show more. Fuck it, man. God. Oh, okay, some of these are... Oh, shit, in Buffalo. My mother-in-law is from Buffalo. Oh. Oh. That sucks. Okay, yeah, one of the family members has MS, which I forget exactly what that's called, but they have wheelchair needs. They're in a wheelchair, and they have like some special accommodations they need, which you know, in New LA, they would just fucking build some fucking wheelchair accessibility for that person. But you know, here you need to get some fucking money from somewhere to fucking pull that off. God. And everyone else needs fucking money so they can live too. So it's like no one can just fucking help anybody, because if you're just helping people, you're not making money, and you've only got so much time when you're not at work, where you have to, you know, and you have to be at work to get money, and you only have so much time when you're not at work. And I mean, how much of your time when you're not at work can you really, you know, mentally or physically bear to spend on doing service type stuff? Because it's not like you get to work less at work because you spent your Sunday like volunteering at a soup kitchen. No, you still have to go work Monday through Friday. You don't, you know, it's like, I just think, you know, I do what I can, you know, I do this, and this is enjoyable for me, and I think there's a helpful aspect to it, but it's like there's a bunch of just fucking trash in the alley behind my house where the trash cans are, and like I've done a little bit to clean it up. Like it's on my kind of list. It's on my, you know, chore list to do some more cleanup there, because there's really a lot of just fucking shit back in that alley. But it's just the factor of like, you know, I have a job and I have other chores I have to do. I have chores to do inside the house, and as much as like I want that alley to be cleaned and I want to clean it up, it's also like I can't just like tell my company like, hey, what if on Wednesday, instead of doing any fucking work, I go like clean up the alley behind my house, and I spend a few hours putting trash into bags and picking up fucking broken glass, and you know, I'll take some pictures of me with the full trash bags to be like, hey, clean up, woo, we did it. You know, it's like I have a motivation that like I want to go out there and clean it up, but then it's just finding the time. I was doing other chores today. I was doing chores inside my house. I was doing like some home maintenance and repair shit that I also need to do. And I don't get time off from work to do that stuff, and it's the whole, you know, I mean, volunteering is like really, really valuable and like really important. And I guess I just kind of make the comparison like there to like with the, you know, with the game that I've been talking about with like that character Hope there, that like, you know, she's really good at counseling people, so she can just be a counselor, and her living needs are taken care of, and everyone's happy that they have access to her counseling. And it's just that kind of thing where I think, you know, I've got plenty of neighbors, and you know, I don't blame any of them for not cleaning up that alley either, because they're probably just in the same kind of bind of, you know, maybe some of them just don't give a fuck fair. I'm not planning to live in this house for a super long time, so who knows? Maybe I'll never actually clean up that alley. Been doing some other like cleanup in my backyard and stuff because I feel like the people who lived in this house before, I feel like my backyard had just like not been cleaned up in at least 3 to 5 years since I moved in here. So I put some effort. I bought the brown bags, and I've been, I've done some sessions of fucking pickup sticks in my backyard just to clear out all the fucking just random brush and shit because no one's cleaned the fucking yard ever apparently. And it's like, okay, that's my backyard, so at least I'm getting a cleaner backyard out of that. But it's just that kind of thing where it's like, I'd love it. I'd love if there was a way where I could just like, organize like everyone in the block here. It's just like, hey, does anyone want to, on Saturday, does anyone want to like go out for like for an hour or two, and we'll just like clean up the alley together? I'll bring trash bags. I've got a spare pair of gloves if someone wants to wear some gloves to deal with the glass. Just like, anyone want some cold lemonade? I got some lemonade I bought from the grocery store. I can go pour some cups out of lemonade for everyone out. We could have that fucking alley cleaned up in like an hour or two. We had a handful of the people working together, but I don't know any of the fucking neighbors, and I have to contact them, and I don't know what their lives and schedules are like, and I don't know how busy or tired and exhausted they are from their work, or what other plans or obligations they might have. And that's the kind of thing where I wish there was more infrastructure just existing, or, it's the kind of stuff that, like, the government, it would be more effective and efficient on a governmental level to, like, set up things like that. I'm going to throw this one out real quick, but I sometimes wish, in the way that, like, a video game like Xenoblade has, like, a fucking quest terminal that you just go up to and there's quests there and missions and just random tasks people want done. Like, I think like probably public works projects or like public like work and job programs, like the kind of shit like FDR was doing, like to get us out of the Depression. I need to look into that because I feel like there's some like powerful potential for some stuff like that. Because I just imagine that like, what if just any person you could just look up, see that like there's been a amount of trash noticed on the streets and sidewalks in your neighborhood, and there's a quest for it. There's a bounty, and for every trash bag you fill up with trash from the street, you get $25. You could be a kid, you could be a retiree, you could be a student, you could be anyone. You could be someone who came from another neighborhood over because you like picking up trash so much. But it's like, hey, just how much, as a society, how much would it be worth it to us if someone picked up some of the fucking trash? And then to me, it's like, why can't we just have a system where if someone does go and pick up a bag, a big, fucking trash bags worth of trash that they pick up off the sidewalk, all the fucking fast food wrappers and plastic bags and fucking empty water bottles and whatever fucking shit people can't bother to get into an actual trash bin for some damn reason. Why can't we, like, collectively as a society, like, set up a way to facilitate and reward someone doing that? Because it could just be anyone. It could be you or me. Why? Because we'd all benefit, right? Everyone in the neighborhood would appreciate there being less trash fucking strewn about. I sometimes get fucking random trash blowing into my front yard because I'm on a busy street. So, like, sometimes there's just unironic, like, fast food bags and wrappers and shit just, like, in my front yard. And I know it's because it just blows in there. It was just, like, in the street or on the sidewalk or something. And it just blew in because, like, I have a fence, but it's, it's not a solid wall or anything. So, like, I end up picking up random fucking trash that's just in my front yard sometimes, because it's like when I first moved here, there was a bunch of that, and it's just like, oh, again, like the people who lived here before must have just not given a shit. But it's like, you know, for me, it's like, okay, I care if there's just a bunch of random fucking plastic trash in my front yard. Like, I don't fucking want that. I took the time to go and fucking get a lot of that picked up, and now it's just every so often there's something that blows in, and I take the time to deal with it. Yeah, okay, that's ramble. That's a whole topic. That's something I kind of want to... Talking about it a bit, it's something where I know also there's a lot more I could just learn about it. I think that's one of those things where I want to hold off on talking about it, because it's just, I know I could have a more educated opinion on it with just a bit of work. So it's like, how long do I want to spend talking about a thing when it's like, if I spend even an hour researching or just like reading up or thinking on some of this stuff, I probably have an even like more detailed or fleshed out like view on it. So here, let's see. It's been about 2 hours, and it's getting later. It's 10:15 on my end. So, not going to end stream right this second. Still going to go for a little bit of time. I think we're going to mostly end the Xenoblade Chronicles X discussion here. I think maybe... You know what? Tuesday. This Tuesday. That's supposed to be a chill stream. I'm not going to go about it as long, but I'll make a note to myself. So this will be for next stream, because there's one more serious aspect of the game and the story theme plot stuff that I want to talk about, which is just the whole thing with how you meet other alien races and you befriend them and they join up with humanity, and it becomes this whole thing of the bad, shitty aliens who destroyed Earth and pursued you. How some of these other aliens you team up with have been like kind of subjugated from them, and so they're very happy to team up with humanity and rebel against these bad guys. And by the end of the game, it actually creates this like nice pluralistic kind of thing where the alien faction is basically standing alone, and humanity, you have like half a dozen. I don't exactly remember them all, but you've got these different alien cultures and species that are teamed up with you and are like living in the city, and they've got, you know, they're alien species, so they have their own like unique cultures and like quirks and personalities, and they also have their own unique strengths. There's one of the species that are they're kind of like, you know, they're kind of like big, strong, like tribal hunter guys, and it's like they're good at fighting and dealing with the indigenous life, and they're also they're like fucking 8 feet tall, like big yoked guys, so like they're good at manual labor. Like they don't give a shit about doing manual labor, and they're good at it. So it's like they integrate pretty easily into town. Or there's another species that are like little small guys, but they're like really intelligent, and their technology is super advanced, and you know, so it's like, hey, they're happy to work together with humanity, and they're happy to help, like, you know, help us. They start, you know, sharing technological innovation with us, and they've got a thing where just they're like obsessed with pizza. Pizza's like the most delicious food they've ever had. You know, it's real silly, but it just means that like, because humanity is willing to cooperate with them, we're getting like advanced weapons development research in exchange for fucking pizzas. And, you know, it's like, hey, as far as, you know, as far as that group of aliens is concerned, I mean, the bad aliens were kind of just, you know, fucking beating them. You know, the other aliens were just beating them and forcing them to do work. The fact that, you know, the fact that humans are willing to not beat them and give them pizza is like, oh, best friends. And it's like, by having all those, like, friendships and alliances with the aliens, it's like, it's a critical thing that helps humanity get forward. So that's something I want to talk on a bit. So I'll do that Tuesday, just because I find the whole this like alien culture that's, you know, very different from us, and they're their like fundamentals and just how they think and view things is very different, and how that then like reflects and plays out and just like what kind of choices they make and what they like prioritize and value. I find that kind of stuff real interesting. It's one of the things I really like in a Mass Effect as a setting. It's just I like stuff that's like, oh, the Turians live in like a military dictatorship, but like it's like fine because they're actually like pretty competent about it. Like they have a very competent military dictatorship, and so like none of them actually have like a real problem with it. I just remember more like the dialogues from Mass Effect 2 where it's like it just mentions that like for the Turians it's like there's like no criminalization about drugs. So it's like, but it's like if doing drugs is like fucking up your work, you know, if you're doing drugs and that's making you bad at your job, like that's a problem. But it's like, as far as the Turians are concerned, like if you want to just do crazy fucking drugs on your off time, like they don't give a shit. Why should they? And that's interesting. Where it's stuff where it's like the Solarians have like really, really controlled breeding because they're like frog people, so they can have like one male fertilize 1,000 eggs in a go. So like they need to actually be really controlled about how they breed because otherwise it just they can't just have any one random fucking dude, you know, fucking sneak into the breeding pools and just fertilize 10,000 eggs all by himself. Like none of them want that to happen. So it's like they've all got like politically arranged marriages just because their reproductive cycle is crazy that way. It's like, fuck it, that's interesting. That's weird, cool shit. That's interesting to think about and reflect on. Or it's like, I know, it's like the whole thing with the Krogan, where I love the thing Rex says, that's just like, you know, his people are like dying off due to the genophage, and he's just like, you know, hey, you ask the average Krogan, do they want to be a scientist and research a cure for the genophage, or do they want to just be a mercenary and bust heads? And it's like, look at me, I'm a mercenary, I bust heads, my people are dying of the genophage, and I'm still just doing the mercenary shit because I'm a Krogan, and just that's actually how we are. And it's like Rex is like one of the like more like fucking less bloodthirsty Krogan. Anyway, so I'll just write the note on that. So Xenoblade, yeah, Chronicles X, alien races, and then cool scale robot and enemy shit. That'll just be for some fun to just show off that just there's some fucking, you saw little bits of it in what I played, but like there's some big fucking cool robot alien fucking creature monster shit that you get to fight, and I just want to show that off sometime because I think it's cool. So that'll be a quicker one. That'll be on Tuesday, and Tuesday's the less serious stream. So if I just spend Tuesday just fucking playing through fucking Xenoblade footage, like whatever, I'm fine with that on a Tuesday stream. For the Sunday stream, I want these to be, you know, the more politically oriented ones, so that's why I wanted to bring in some of that political angle of just how the society of the game, because it's one of those things, I mean, you know, from the gameplay perspective, I'll say it like just playing the game, it actually, you know, it made me, I really liked New Los Angeles as a setting. I actually, as the player, I found it like really rewarding to do quests and accomplish things and to just like to complete tasks and stuff for people, because I just had this really clear sense of like how it was actually making things better, and how I was playing, how as the player I was playing a part, you know, an important part, because you're the player and you're a badass. But I really appreciated just how it was like, you know, even sometimes you'll get a little simple, they're like some kind of, you know, real simple kind of throwaway repeatable tasks, but some of them will be like a restaurant in town and they want, you know, they want 10 of that new melon berry fruit that's been discovered, and they want someone to bring them 10 of them so they can like make some new dishes out of it. And it's like, hey, that's like, that's a restaurant in the city. Like, that's, they're making meals. They're making meals, all day, every day to feed the people of this town. And like, hey, yeah, they want someone to bring them some of the newly discovered, like, natural fruits and vegetables so that they can start making dishes out of those and figuring out how to prepare them. So it's like, just a simple bullshit, bring me 10 melon berries, simple bullshit RPG filler quest, but just that extra little bit of context of like, oh, this is like gonna actually like, help a restaurant in our little, city and like actually do something to like help feed and, give some more variety and like new tasty meals and culinary creations to the people of town. I'm not just turning these products over to, Food Mart Co. so they can start selling them. This request was put in by a chef at the restaurant who wants to like experiment with new dishes. It's like, oh, I feel I'm happy to help. Shit. So yeah, that's just the thing I really took away from that game. It's like I want real life to be a little bit more cohesive and just having people on the same page and being able to help each other, because if we get better at helping each other, to a certain extent, we won't need to help each other so much. We'll have our shit better taken care of in the first place. It's the whole it's like when like a company's in trouble and it's like you're having to like constantly put out fires, and that's like a bad sign, because if you're like constantly having to put out fires, it's like you don't have the time you need to like establish and create better systems that would prevent those fires. That's like something that shows up a lot for like IT and sysadmin stuff, where if you're just constantly running from fire to put it out, the thing that's like really sucks about that is that you have trouble then finding the time to do the things that could potentially just prevent those fires from ever happening in the first place. But it's like, if there's a thing on fire right now, like, well, I have to go put that fire out. I can't spend a week or two fireproofing things because there's a fire right now I have to deal with. And that kind of shit can be really stressful. That's kind of like the first job I had out of college. One of the reasons why I ended up like quitting it after 2 years. I mean, just general stressful stuff, but it was like the workload was just so overburdened. The team I was on, the department I was in, was just so consistently overburdened for over a year, and it was just really fucking stressful. And even as we were trying to make things better, it was just like never letting up. And it's one of those things that just eventually burned me out, because it was just like, because it's just like, damn, I go to work every day and I see that like just things are like a fucking mess. And even when I'm trying to like do my best, it's like I'm still barely making any headway into this just fucking mess. And even if I pull some overtime, which, I log and charge for, but it was just the kind of situation where it's like, man, I could stay late on Friday and I could spend 3 hours just going through all my emails and just doing all the email work, responding to people that I need to do. And in a week or two, I'm going to be back in the exact same, like, fucking position I am now. So it's like, even, you try getting ahead, you try putting in a lot of extra work so you can get ahead, and then you never end up being able to actually even fucking get ahead. And it's just like, it's a bit of like kind of a hopeless feeling. It's just like, oh, is shit fucked today? Well, that's fine. Shit's been fucked every day for the past 3 months. Like, who gives a shit? That was one of the things that just made that job less and less enjoyable and more stressful over time, was just how like overburdened our system was, where there was an element of like, God, I feel like I'm just triaging everything. I feel like all my work is just fucking triage, and that just any work I do, I'm having to do like a triage of like, what's the most important thing I need to work on right here? Okay, I have to work on that thing. Like, this thing, fuck this thing. I'm not going to look at this thing for a week. this thing right here, I could probably finish this thing in 20 minutes. I'm not going to look at it for a fucking week because I don't have the fucking time, because I've got 18 other things that I have to look at. That's where that job got really fucking stressful, and my unmedicated for ADHD ass was, and my autistic ass was, I was burnt out. When I quit that job, I think I just basically drank every day for like 3 weeks in a row. For just like 3 weeks, I just drank and played video games and sat on my ass. Because I was just... How's it going? It's going alright. Just that was like the vibe I was in. I needed to just not do fucking anything. After like 3 weeks of drinking, I was just like... Oh... Hey baby, do you want to like do something on Friday? Like, I feel like I could go and do something now. Now that I've had 3 weeks to decompress from that fucking job. Fuck, okay, this is me getting drunk. There's a very long and structured ramble. But I said, we're not quite done with the stream yet. I'm saying not quite, like, no, I've gonna do a fun thing or two. Still kill a little bit more time. I gotta go to the bathroom again, so here's some fucking B-roll from World of Long Plays. Thank you. Shit, I'll give it a like, cause I like that you're giving me fucking some good-ass B-roll of this game I really like and care about. Okay, actually, yeah, I'm happy with this too, just because, since this is like part one and it's the beginning of the game where your characters doesn't know what the fuck has been going on because you just got woken up out of your pod, so you're getting everything explained to you, so that's actually pretty nice. But it's like, little thing I'll just mention before I hop off of this game for the night, but, so it's like, okay, this is like LA, like Beverly Hills, yeah, so these are like some real big houses. A thing I like that it like came up at some point during a quest is that because each of these houses is like, these are pretty large houses and some of them are like fucking mansions, all of these houses have multiple people living in them. Like, your character is like living in the Blade barracks, so there's just, there's other, clearly there's like big kind of, like apartment barrack blocks that people can live in. But I like that it's like, oh, in this setting, because this is the one fucking city settlement we have, it's like, yeah, each of these houses is like full occupancy with just, multiple people or, multiple family, still living in comfort. They're not, all crammed and crushed in there, but I like that it's like, there's not some rich asshole living in the mansion, there's a rich asshole and then 5 other people living in the mansion, and they all just have to share, because of course they do. We all have to share. Look at the size of our residential district, dog. We're barely dunking on Celadon City with our residential district right here. All right, we're barely dunking on Celadon. And we have a fucking cathedral, so you can go pray and be religious. Yeah. Very quick, is Vosh actually still alive? He is. He's playing Resident Evil 4.
Congratulations on your...
Well, shit, I might go watch that when I'm done. Alright. On the topic of funny stuff. Ah, fuck, that's half an hour. Okay, I want to watch through this sometime on stream, but not today if it's half an hour. That's too long. But Alright, you know what though? I had a fun time with the Joseph Anderson Losing It and Laughing Hysterically compilation. It's from 5 years ago. So, there's of course another one from 2 years ago. Oh shit, that's another one. These are by the same channel. They've done good. Oh man. When Joe playing Yakuza 0, I didn't like watch that full playthrough or anything. I just watched like some of the clips and stuff. I myself did I did 100% on Yakuza 0. Only Yakuza game I've played. Did 100%. That took a while. Took a while to do 100%. I learned a lot of I learned a lot of fucking Japanese casino games. I fucking bought a deck of Hanafuda cards on Amazon because it was fucking like Hoi Koi or whatever. There was one of them I actually thought was like kind of fun to play, so fuck it. I just figured I'd buy a deck of Hanafuda cards because, I mean, why not? It's like $10. They're like little too. It's the weird thing with the Hanafuda cards. They're like, they're like, I don't know what I'm doing. Just, you can look up Hanafuda cards. They're like a third the size of like traditional Western playing cards. And there's like fucking 120 of them in a deck, and they have fucking birds and flowers and shit on them. It takes a while to learn what the fuck different cards are supposed to even be. How the fuck is trees a suit? How the fuck is flowers one of the 4 suits, you assholes? No. Alright, 23 minutes, jeez, I'm not doing myself any favors. Yes, I am. Who cares? This is fun. Alright, this is just so main serious parts of the stream have ended. Talked about Xenoblade, gonna talk about it a bit more on fucking Tuesday. Woo woo. So this is just bonus. It's just Joseph Anderson. He's a funny guy. Subscribe to him. This guy O'Samuel here, he's making some good compilations. At least if you enjoyed watching this vis-a-vis me being here, I'll try to be reacting a little bit. I'll at least be laughing and smiling along. You can enjoy that. Actually, real quick. Gonna watch one more video. We're gonna watch a Joseph Anderson laughing compilation. Nice. And then that'll be the end of my stream. I'll watch about Xenoblade, so I'm happy about that. Nice. Get to it. Yeah. Alright, just wanted to see if or when my partner was going to bed. It's not gonna be till after the stream is done, so yeah, let's go with this.
Oh, that was kind of a cool line.
Don't fuck with that kid. That kid will fuck you up.
funny? Was that meant to be funny? That was so funny. Oh my god.
The hit child.
Oh shit, okay.
Before he was a
I just
hitman.
don't know who he was messing with. This is like the time when I was the imposter in Among Us. And someone accused me of venting, and I said, "This is my second time being the imposter. I don't know how to do that." We can take them.
No, we can't. You don't understand what these things are capable of.
Uh-oh.
They're useless and getting close to suicide. The only thing now let's get to the train and keep these things behind.
That's amazing! Holy shit! That's so funny! Alright, let's go. Oh my god!
Shit! It's leaving. Come on, kid. We gotta get inside that building until it comes back.
Oh shit, he's dead! Next tram! That's... Oh my god, that was so funny! How were you standing up?
You got me, but I don't give a shit. Maybe you should. That's a weird flex.
What?
I'm leaving you here. You mustn't move, understand? I'll be back soon to get you. I hope.
Let her go back downstairs into the warm.
David Cage. I like to make video game movies.
So this is just a preview of the fan art that has been made and fan memes that has been made. Oh, we're hidden now.
A guard uniform should do nicely, but you'll need to draw him out and isolate him.
Man, put your hands up.
Hey, nice and easy and no sudden moves. Target's locked in hand-to-hand combat. Watch your fire.
Do.
I lost him. Where'd he go?
Saved cash is obsolete.
I got him.
This uniform should
He
provide-
got away. I don't know where he went. Quickly, go find him. I know. He's a go. I need to go take a shit. You go. You find him, okay? Enter? What? No! I don't want. I didn't know that was gonna. Oh, he's scared. He's afraid.
Damn, bro, look where you walking. We're fighting here.
Someone threw some scissors in here. I heard someone throw some scissors. Oh no. Oh shit! I thought he was down. Alright. What? Who the fuck writes post-it notes like that and puts them on their mirror? Like, what the fuck, man? Like, what?
I don't want a bath. Thank you. Sorry, Lieutenant. It's for your own good.
It's like in every scene you get a different Hank. It's like... What the fuck, game? Every scene! It's just...
Your actions have changed the mission conditions. You may need to revise your plans.
Stealth operations.
Mission accomplished.
Congratulations, Agent. You are cleared for field duty.
We did it.
Set up the ejector seat, and then we just fucking snapped his neck. We did it, alright. Waffles upon chiropractor.
New personal best.
Oh my God. Alright, here we go next.
You're both here, my hunter and my target.
I knew it. Convenient isn't the word I'd use. I think you've been getting high on your own supply.
Surprise.
Vampire the Masquerade is a video game.
Holy sh! Oh. The transformation was just amazing. Alright, there we go. We did it.
And no hope of getting a second right-sided heart in time.
Do 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 do.
Without laying a hand on him. This
Do
should be a
do
clear
do
message to
do
anyone
do
considering
do.
following in his footsteps.
Shame. Shame. Someone in chat just said, shot through the heart. Do you know how hard it is to find new turn-based strategies we could play? Almost everything Mankind produces is either a half-assed sequel or a shitty ripoff. I would like to play them anyway. Same here, unfortunately. Best joke! Best joke! You fucking degenerates to play those games. Best fucking. I'm just gonna have a soda.
All respect to you.
Thanks. Can I drink poison? All right. How's it going? I'm just having a Dr. Pop. Do you want this Dr. Pop?
What the?
Oh. Yeah. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just wanted. We wanted a soda. Shame. When the music kicks in, it's like. Take.
We're gonna take a short commercial break.
Ooh.
Does your penis always seem to be getting in the way?
I got the last of the groceries, honey. I just need to close the trunk. One more nail and this birdhouse will be as good as new. No!
I'm sorry, sir. This dressing room is for women only.
You don't have to let this happen to you. Hi, I'm Dr. Fred Tuck. Don't let your penis interfere with the quality of your life anymore. I have performed over 300 sex changes in my career, and not one of my patients has ever asked for their tackle box.
Wow.
Come to Tuck's Sex Exchange in the next month, and I'll give you...
Wow.
Don't let your peace interfere with your peace of mind.
Tuck's Sex Exchange, located off Beverly Drive. Look for the sign with Toothy, the surgical saw. Tired of sluggish internet access?
Mom, the internet's all slow again.
Bullshit. I need help. Someone, I need help right now.
See you later. Something's going on down there. Oh no! Oh no!
What a plan. What a plan.
This should be somewhere on the first floor.
What the fuck just happened there? Go, my curfew approaches. What the fuck was that? Oh, we can go business cash. Taking it seriously after the tutorial, by the way. Alright, time to find some jazz music on YouTube and say it has Persona vibes.
The show is just about to start. This is the red carpet event of the season, and the guest list is a veritable who's who of the global fashion elite. You will find Victor Novikov basking in the spotlight, while Dalia Margolis hosts a heavily guarded auction on the second floor for a group of Iago's top customers. Now, event security will keep a watchful eye on any suspicious activity, but I trust
I'm the clown.
look shall fit right in.
Yeah!
I mean, obviously that guy should be there. Look at him. God, Beyond Two Souls. That game's like actually offensive. Like, it's not just a very bad game. It's a bad story, badly told. It's also just kind of legitimately offensive. Just a general, like, human decency and sensibility. That was a fun one to watch Joe play.
Head of Sanguine and ringleader of Iago. Quite the resume.
Alright, where's the other one? Yeah, now time to find her. Alright, where is she? Alright. Oh no!
Welcome to Paris, Fortison.
Graphics.
It happened again.
The graphics are overwhelming. Graphics are too powerful. The game can't run them.
Your hippo is sick. Surely he would know the hippo guy. Hey, I'm the hippo guy.
The animal has emerged from the enclosure. He looks healthy. He's acting like any other
No, it's not gonna
Devicage. You really just want to kiss that cop, Spider-Man style.
Here we go.
Don't move, asshole.
Don't move or I'll shoot. God, that's that other part of the fucking game.
Yes.
Do you feel the emotions? Wow, that helicopter is low. Well, you know the point of a helicopter is that it can fucking fly, right?
Both targets down. Well done.
Wait, let's... Oh man, she glitched her spine. A terminal case of spine glitching. Her vertebrae are in the wrong order now.
What the fuck? The sewer is an exit? Fucking Malkavian flamingo, here we go. Mission accomplished. Back to the sewer. Having successfully hunted his prey, the sewer flamingo now returns to its home. What the fuck?
Ah, hello. I didn't see you there. Boy, Vampire the Masquerade is a janky game.
Alright, let's throw something at him and see if it will like make him just go off in one direction and die. Alright, what are we gonna throw at him? The muffin!
muffin!
That's all we need to do from here. Miss Hill should be able to extract the information.
We killed him with a muffin!
Non-lethal my ass. Crip walking. Just because you activated the trap card.
Come to my Reddit, hitmen going their own way. We're just a group of hitmen who have decided that mission stories aren't worth the social contract. And it's not safe to follow them, so we just go in and shoot them in the head. Hitmen going their own way. Alright. Give us a chance, we'll do anything. And it's just me, all caps, responding with, "This was it!" And that was one of the 2 times that I cried laughing in the past week. The other time was when we did the word game last night, and I gave 27 people a number and a letter, and and 3 of them were the imposter, and they had to figure out what the phrase was out of all these clues, and they have to like reveal it to each other, and I gave them numbers instead of letters, so like, Baldur comes in the chat, and he's the first one to reveal what he had, and Baldur's like, "Joe gave me 2 5s." We're playing a word game. Okay, what do you have to do? You have to guess the letters and arrange the words. Alright. What letters do you have? I have 2 5s.
I don't know what this image is showing, but...
Oh my god! They got it though, they figured it out. They figured it out, they did. They figured it was pretty quick too. I think it only took them like 2 hours or 3 hours. 2 hours!
Oh shit, that went by faster than I thought.
No one makes me laugh harder than myself, sorry. I know it's a bad habit, but no one makes me laugh harder than myself.
Oh, you got me laughing, Joe. Billionaire buster. I do that joke a lot. I don't know. It's always funny to me. It's always funny to me. Alright. I'm scrolling, but it doesn't. Family Guy, funny clip. No. Okay, that's where we stop, yeah. It's been... Whew, it was a good length stream. God damn, I went into this stream feeling kind of tired, and now I'm right at the end of it like, oh shit, I feel like I could keep going. Except, I don't feel like I could keep going because I'm very hungry. I'm very hungry. But anyway, yeah, at the end of the day, gave out gave 3 donations out on the GoFundMe. Helped some people who were, have fallen upon hard times in various ways and are asking the world if it could spare some help. And I can spare some help, so shit, I did. Feels good. Feels good, man. Anyone can do it. Even a millionaire or a billionaire could be on GoFundMe. Helping people. Putting out some of the fires of just human suffering and tragedy. With that said, that's this stream. I'll be back. I'll be back in 2 days. I'll be back on Tuesday with a just very casual chill stream for that day. So looking forward to that. See you then. I'm Alex, the Billionaire Buster, signing off.